Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Merci beaucoup, chère Anna. Maintenant, and now I give the floor directly to Madame Aida Ghajar, journaliste, pour nous vous entendons. Merci.
Merci à vous. Hi. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here talking with you about human rights situation in Iran. I had prepared my speech differently, but an interview with a family who were victims of the Islamic Republic's violence made me decide to begin with their stories. Last night, a woman named Shaheen Abdulqaderi shared with me, for the first time in 2.5 years, the truth about what happened to her and her husband. The report in both Persian and English is published today on IranWire. During the crackdown on protest, an IRGC officer shot her in the head with a shotgun from less than a meter away, embedding 300 hot lead pellets in her head. A month and a half after the incident, agents from the Islamic Republic's intelligence services subjected her husband, Osman Mame, to an enforced disappearance, abducting him off the street and providing no information about his whereabouts. They are now in the second country waiting to receive a humanitarian visa. Sometimes I find myself wondering, what if I hadn't gone into exile? What if I had stayed in Iran? What would have become of my 22-year-old son, the young man who is now studying for a master's degree in international criminal law? Would he have been shot and killed as a child like Kian Pirfalak, 9-year-old boy whose only crime was dreaming? Would he be on death row now, or already buried without no justice, no goodbye? And if that were my son, how could I sit here today speaking of justice, of truth, of hope? Let me begin with the most recent statistic and then move on to some specific examples. In 2024, at least 972 people were executed in Iran. This number shows a 14% increase compared to 2023. Among those executed, at least 30 were women. According to the latest report by Amnesty International, what is published today, Iran accounted for 64% of all recorded executions worldwide in 2024. In the first 3 months of 2025, at least 230 people have been executed. The United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights, May Sato, said in March 2025 that this number is alarming us, because in previous years, the number of executions in the first quarter of the year was much lower. In March, 59 people were executed, 59 human beings who, if Iran were not under the control of the mullahs, would be speaking freely like you and me, playing with their children and saying goodbye and good night to them at bedtime. In the past 2 years, following the Women's Life Freedom movement, at least 9 protesters have been executed in Iran. I just mentioned one of them, Mohammad Hosseini, 39 years old, a sport coach and worker. He had no father, no mother, no one. Me and Mohammad Hosseini, we born in same day, same year, and in same city. He's executed and I'm in exile now. Let me mention another name, Jawad Ruhi, 35 years old. He was sentenced to death 3 times. Under torture, he lost his ability to speak, and he died on the way to the hospital due to delayed medical attention. Let me speak about who are on death row now. Milad Armun, Ali Reza Kafai, Amir Mohammad Khoshekbal, Navid Najjaran, Hossein Nemati, and Ali Reza Barmazanpurnak. All of them were protesters in Xinjiang Azadi movement. They were arrested, sentenced to death without any evidence, and they are still on death row. 3 women that they are in the same row now. Shafia Mohammadi, 46 years old, a social worker, mother of a child, and daughter of a worker. Pakshan Azizi, 40 years old, a social worker activist. Varisha Moradi, 39 years old, a political activist. These three women, according to human rights defenders and lawyers, are also on death row as a form of revenge by the Islamic Republic for Women Life Freedom Movement. The regime wants to send a message that when it comes to executions, it makes no distinction between women and men. For 45 years, the mullahs, with the support of IRGC and militias, have been destabilizing regions outside Iran's border, while at home they rule through imprisonment, torture, and execution. For nearly half a century, people have been tortured for demanding their basic rights, their bodies held captive by those who have made sexual violence and assault tools of repression. In the recent report by UN fact-finding mission, it is clearly outlined how the Iranian regime operates as a criminal entity and the method it uses to maintain power. Three permanent legal experts have accused the Islamic Republic of crime against humanity. With their report this March, they've provided all of us with the mechanism and tools needed to rise against these atrocities and consider ways to compensate the victims. They testified that the judiciary of the Islamic Republic is not independent and bears no resemblance to justice. Journalists Vida Rabbani, Reza Valizadeh, Jina Modarresgorji, Mustafa Nemati are in prison simply for their commitment to exposing the truth. 5 journalists in Abadan city, as Mandana Sadeghi, Reza Mohammadi, Farzaneh Yahyabadi, Arash Qali Gobad, Korush Karampur were sentenced to up to 10 years in prison just last month for telling the truth. Many others who have been freed, like Saeed Shafiz, a social affairs journalist, no longer have the right to work. As you surely know, at least 5 lawyers are in prison and dozens more are under the threat of imprisonment, soon to be forced to turn themselves in. Taher Nagavi, a human rights lawyer, is even deprived of the right to medical treatments. Last month, he was supposed to be transferred to the hospital, but the authorities mistreated and used violence against his family so harshly that he refused treatment and was sent back to prison. This is similar to what happened to Nasrin Sotoudeh's child, Nima. Her son was beaten into prison visiting hall. Nasrin's husband, Reza Khandan, has imprisoned for protesting compulsory hijab, and Nasrin, a Sakharov Prize laureate, has been banned from working. She remains under sentence and is periodically summoned during phone calls. I can continue the names during day, week. Today, the Islamic Republic claims to be dismantling the morality police. Yet experience has shown that only its name changes. In the first 2 decades after the Islamic Republic came to power, the police force was called the Comité. Then it became to Police for the Protection of Morality. Later, it turns to Morality Police, Gasht Ershad. And today, it's called Hijab Ban. It means hijab guards, ununiformed polices. And still claims victims. Of course, summer hasn't arrived yet. Every year, with the arrival of summer, the Islamic Republic targets women more than ever. Islamic Republic repression is not just within Iran. It's also reached us abroad. According to statistics from the Burman Foundation, in the 45 years of Islamic Republic's rule, at least 903 extrajudicial killings have taken place outside Iran's border by the IRGC and Ministry of Intelligence agent or under their order. We also have at least 139 unsuccessful assassinations and threats against activists and journalists. And we, the exiled journalists and activists, under constant security threats, while our family remain in Iran and face ongoing threats, hold firm in our belief. We believe in the path we have chosen. Wherever we are, we must stand up against the Islamic Republic, the IRGC, and dictator who endanger democracy around the world. a regime that does not negotiate, but rather takes hostages like Cécile Kohler and Jacques Paris, 2 French citizens who have been imprisoned in Evin prison for nearly 3 years, with the powerful arm of IRGC, which has made the world unsafe. You said that in past 2 years, I heard this, that for 2 years, the dialogue channel with Iran has been closed. Yet, you know, all of us know the questions, all of us know the demands and the human rights situation and the report from the UN Special Rapporteur and the fact-finding mission. We also have the answers and mechanism to hold the Islamic Republic accountable. I must point out that all the violence, discrimination and deprivation against ethnic group, religious minority and queers are far greater than far greater than what I have reviewed for you so far. Ethnic groups endure greater poverty due to increased security crackdown, and their physical, financial, and mental safety is more at risk. Religious minorities are deprived of their basic rights, and queers may lose their lives, even due to this penalty. Over the past year, as a journalist, I focused my research and reports on the issue of justice and accountability in Auschwitz and Dachau in Germany. These 2 concentration camps, a symbol of the horror of the past, stand as a grim reminder of what happens when silence prevails in the face of injustice. The findings of my research have deepened my understanding of the power of oppression and the necessity for action more than ever before. And now, allow me to end by reading a poem that I'm sure all of you, each one of you, know it by heart, but I want to remind us all of its significance. First, they came for the communists. I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madame Aida Ghajar.